South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace. Congresswoman, great to see you this morning. So what led you to consider this run, and when will you officially throw your hat in the race?
Well, when I look at the midterms coming up in the next 2 years in 2026, it's going to be a big year for Republicans. We have a real opportunity to cinch the U.S. Senate, to get more Trump supporting governors all across the country to help implement his agenda. And in my home state of South Carolina, looking to lower taxes, making sure we're working with ICE, deporting illegal aliens. I just fired a sanctuary sheriff in Charleston, South Carolina. We have MS-13 gangs, we have cartels in South Carolina. We need people who are going to be strong, who are going to have grit, who are going to be bold to implement his agenda in every state across the nation. And I'm looking at the field, and I don't see anyone else out there who has the experience, the work ethic, and the ability to make some really tough decisions going forward. And so that's why we're looking at it. And we're lining up support right now as we consider this run to make South Carolina better than ever before.
So I got to ask, Senator Lindsey Graham will be up for re-election as well. If you don't run for governor, would you ever consider running for his seat in the Senate?
Been there, done that, got the T-shirt about a decade ago. And I know a lot of folks are asking us to look at that as well. But I do feel a calling in my heart that when you go to the governor's office and you run statewide, the government closest to the people can have the greatest impact. The state of South Carolina, the state went just from 6.2% state income tax to 6%. It was like 0.2% tax cut. It should be 0, like Texas and Florida. We have folks that have not been working with ICE to deport illegals. We had a sheriff just last year that was letting pedophiles, rapists, and murderers back out onto the streets of South Carolina. So we need people who are going to protect our citizens and look at what Donald Trump is doing in the White House, then do it in every state house across the country. That's the kind of bold leadership we need right now.
You make a great point. And last night, I know the House voted to send the Laken Riley Act to President Trump's desk. 156 Democrats voted against this bill. Last week, we saw 145 Democrats vote against the Preventing Violence Against Women by Illegal Aliens Act, which you introduced, which would deport illegal migrants who commit sex crimes. Why are Democrats fighting so hard to protect criminals?
Well, this is their voter base, right? They don't want the illegals to leave, not even the murderers and rapists. They're counting on their vote to keep them in power. And it's disgusting. The Democrats said last week when we voted on my bill to deport rapists, pedophiles, and murderers, they said that my bill made the definition of domestic violence too broad. As a survivor of domestic violence, I can tell you, you can't make the definition of domestic violence broad enough. And these people are disgusting. They say that they're for women. Turns out MAGA and conservatives are the feminists now. We are the ones, like Donald Trump, who are protecting women and children. They're not doing it. And so we've got to pick up where the system is broken, and we're doing that every day. And I have to tell you, Trump's first week in office has been breathtaking. Seeing what he has been doing every single day, the executive orders that he is implementing, we got to have this happening at the state level on down, every state across the country to turn this ship around and help him.
Yeah, and you mentioned all of those executive orders and what he's done in just 72 hours. And one of those, I mean, you look at what ICE has been able to do, arresting more than 500 people. Many of those are violent criminals. I look at the list of names here and what these people have already been convicted of in their home country. We're talking about rape of children, domestic violence. I just have to wonder why people are still protecting some of these people, criminals, known criminals.
Well, you look at the Biden-Harris administration, they let more terrorists in through the southern border than any administration in American history. These people hate America, and it's obvious the way that they are gushing over illegal aliens and allowing them into our country, giving them cash, giving them phones, giving them luxury hotel rooms, treating them better than the average American citizen. And then they get to milk the system, free education, free healthcare, all the free things that American citizens pay for. And so they want to dismantle freedom. They want to dismantle democracy. And if I hear Jamie Raskin and one more Democrat talk about the threat to democracy that we pose, I'm going to vomit. I'm just so sick and tired of seeing these people ruin the fabric of a nation with their policies, their practices, and their messages. If you don't like our country, go find somewhere else.
Great point. Congresswoman Nancy Mace, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Of course.
Information. Truth is freedom. is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.